In the last video, we painted these ugly cabinets. Now let's fix this ugly countertop. We're going to go from this to this. Stay tuned and I'll show you how. For this project, I decided to use spruce pine fir 2x6 kiln dried lumber. It's number 2 grade, so it gives me a good knotty look to give me that rustic look we're really going for. And here I'm cutting it to a total length of 84 inches. I ended up trimming a little bit more off of each side because I wanted it to be a little bit narrow on the sides instead of having that overhang, and it worked out perfect. The total, we went with actually 5 pieces total in depth, and that, with the trimming and everything, gives us the total depth that we needed of about 25 inches. Now we're just going to cut the factory edge off while also getting our total width for the countertop done here. And we just do that by running each 2x6 through the tabletop. Okay, so here I'm gluing the edges together, and then I'm going to clamp the 2 boards that we just trimmed, getting all 3 clamps on there so we can apply good even pressure. And then I ultimately realized that while this is a great idea and it's going to do exactly what I want, I forgot to put the pocket holes in this set. So now I get to put pocket holes in after the fact. I'm going to use a 2.5 inch square drive Craig screws to put these in, and we'll just go down both sides of that board, offsetting the pocket hole screws and pulling it tight, and then we'll just remove the clamps and call it good. Remember, put your pocket holes in before you glue the boards together. It makes it so much easier, so much faster. So you see, doing it like this, I can get to each side of the board, operate the drill, hold the clamp down, position the boards, and I'm not fighting the weight of the board. We just glue it up after we do that, and then we can actually make some headway with this in the clamping area and putting the screws in. It's a lot easier doing it this way. Now we've got each slab glued and pocket hole screwed together. We're going to give it about 30 minutes at least to dry, and then we're going to start running it through the planer to get us an even thickness all the way across our complete tabletop. You don't have to have a planer. You can use a sander here. It's just going to take you more time to get that even thickness all the way across, but it is possible. And what you would do here is you would just screw them all together, pocket hole screw the whole slab together, and then just take your sander and work it until you get to a good point. You can buy one of those handheld belt sanders, or you can even use a palm sander starting at a heavier grit. You don't have to have this machine. I just happen to have it in my shop, and as you can see, I don't have much table space, so I'm fighting this battle constantly. I've just rearranged my shop to hopefully give me some more working space, because after this video I realized this was absolutely just a mess trying to do all this. But it's possible, and with the right tools you can make it quicker. So just do what you can with what you got. So now we just need to finish drilling the pocket holes, gluing, screwing all 3 slabs together. Now that's an impressive slab that is just huge and so easy to make that it's not even funny. And now everybody's favorite part, sanding, because this size slab wouldn't fit through my planer. We have to hand sand it with the handy dandy palm sander that my wife let me borrow. Using a pencil and a straight edge, we're going to mark each side just slightly in so that we'll know where we can cut off the little excess where the boards don't quite match up 100%. We want this thing square and straight on each end, and then we're just going to use the circular saw and a straight edge to trim those edges off. You can try a jigsaw, you can do a hand saw, you can even run it through your table saw if you want to manhandle this big beast of thing. I just set the straight edge up and the circular saw and make quick work of it. And then once we've gloved up and made it really weird, we're gonna start putting the stain on this table, but not before we wipe it down one last time to make sure there's no dust, debris, or anything that's gonna mess up our beautiful dark walnut stain from Verathane. This stuff goes on great. It goes on really smooth. I put down quite a bit, a very liberal amount on this tabletop, countertop. I wanted to make sure that it soaked in well and that I got great coverage, and it looks awesome. And then once we've got thoroughly high from smelling so many paint fumes without a mask on, we start to dry the excess off the table so that we can let this stuff dry in and we can finally do our final top coat to make this thing look slick. I highly recommend, if you're spraying anything, you need to be using the appropriate PPE, personal protective equipment such as a face mask. Here I'm going to be putting down a satin polyurethane coating for this top. I'm going to go over it one good pass, and then I'm going to go over it with a second good pass back to back. I want to make sure this stuff is actually going on really well. I'm using a Gravity Feed HVLP Iwata paint sprayer here. It's something I used to paint cars with, but it works great with polyurethane. It is unthin polyurethane, so it's a little thicker coming out of the gun than I like, but I will give it 2 quick coats. I don't want it to flash off that first coat in this Georgia heat before the second coat goes on. If you do, you're taking a chance on getting bubbling underneath. So I'm going to give it 2 quick coats and I'm going to let it sit. I actually think I'll give it another 3rd coat later on. Either way, 2 coats, 3 coats, however you want to do it. Make sure you get a good dry in there. If you're going to go between coats, lightly sand it so it adheres. But anyway, this thing turns out looking great. It's got a good color. It's got a great finish. It's going to be a satin finish, so it's not going to be a super glossy finish. Here's right after I spray. It looks really good. It's going to go in a laundry room, so we're not looking for something that's super, super elegant. But that polyurethane is gonna yellow over time because it's oil based, and it's gonna give us that super nice patina. Here I'm taking the old top off, and it's just held in with a couple of brad nails from underneath on the nailers. So I'm gonna remove the top, and then I'm actually gonna nail the brad nails back down through and pull them with a hammer. Now, be careful removing any countertops; they may not all come off that easy. Right now, I'm gonna put the new top back on, and when I do, I'm gonna secure it from the bottom with some screws. I'm sorry I don't show that in the video, but I will go from underneath and just screw it in, making sure not to go through my top. So I choose the appropriate length screws to put this top down with, put 2 to 3 on each side, and secure it in place. And there is the laundry room countertop upgrade. If you've got a laundry room, there's no reason you can't do this top to give you that rustic look in your laundry room. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you click the round subscribe button now and watch these other videos on my custom kitchen island build that we've been doing. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe.